I lent my brother $50,000 to save his failing business, then he had the nerve to call me a parasite. So I sold his car without telling him and left him stranded at his own grand opening. My brother called me a parasite in front of his entire staff after I handed him $50,000 to save his business, so I sold his car the night before his grand opening and watched him beg strangers for rides. I need to know if I went too far. My brother has always been the golden child. Our parents threw money at every failed venture he started. First it was a food truck that lasted 3 months. Then a gym membership app that never launched. Each time, I watched them drain their savings while I worked 2 jobs to put myself through college. Last year, he came to me with his cafe idea. He had a location, investors lined up, everything. But 2 weeks before opening, his main investor pulled out. He needed $50,000 or the whole thing would collapse. He showed up at my apartment at midnight. He was crying. Like actual tears streaming down his face. "Please," he said. "I know we haven't been close, but I'm desperate. I'll pay you back in 6 months. I swear on my life." I had just gotten a promotion. The money was supposed to be for a house down payment. But he's my brother. So I transferred it the next morning. The cafe opened. It did well. Really well. Lines out the door, Instagram posts, the whole thing. 6 months passed. No mention of repayment. I texted him. He said business expenses were high, he needed another 3 months. Fine. I waited. 9 months total now. I drove to the cafe one afternoon. He was behind the counter, laughing with customers. When he saw me, his face changed. "Can we talk?" I asked. He pulled me into the back office. Before I could say anything, he started. "Look, I know what this is about. But you need to understand, I'm reinvesting everything. That's how businesses grow." "You said 6 months," I said. "Plans change. You'd know that if you'd ever taken a real risk instead of playing it safe your whole life." I felt my chest tighten. "I took a risk on you," he laughed. Actually laughed. "You gave me a loan. You didn't risk anything. You're sitting on your salary, coming here to squeeze me for money like some kind of parasite." I stood there. The word parasite just hung in the air. His assistant manager walked in right then. My brother turned to her and said, "Family drama. Some people think helping once means you own someone forever." She looked uncomfortable. I left. I sat in my car for 20 minutes. Then I remembered something. When he first got the cafe location, he was still living with our parents. He kept his car, this BMW he was obsessed with, parked at my building because his new place didn't have covered parking yet. He never moved it. It had been sitting in my guest spot for over a year. I had the keys. He'd given them to me in case of emergencies. I called a dealership that buys cars same day. They came that evening. Looked it over, offered me $32,000. I took it. I texted him, "Took $32,000 off what you owe me. $18,000 left. Let me know when you're ready to talk repayment." He called me screaming. I hung up. The next day was his grand opening event for a second location. Big deal, local press, investors, the works. I didn't realize until later, but that BMW was the only car he had. His partner usually drove. My phone blew up around noon. Texts from him, our parents, even his business partner. Apparently he'd been telling everyone he'd pick them up personally. Show up in style. When he went to get his car and found an empty spot, he lost it. He had to call rideshares. Showed up late to his own event. Looked frazzled in all the photos. Our parents called me that night. They said I humiliated him. That I was petty and cruel. That family doesn't do this to family. He called me a parasite, I said. He was stressed, my mom said. You know how he gets. I hung up on her too. He finally texted me 3 days later, "We need to talk about this like adults." I wrote back, "Adults pay their debts." He hasn't responded since. But now I'm getting messages from extended family saying I ruined his big moment over money. That I should have been the bigger person. The thing is, I don't feel bad. I feel lighter. Like I finally stopped letting him walk all over me. But maybe that makes me just as bad as him. So, am I the one in the wrong here? I didn't expect my last post to blow up like that. Honestly, I thought maybe 10 people would call me petty and I'd delete it out of shame. Instead, most of you told me to hold firm. So I did. And my brother absolutely lost his mind. The day after I posted, he showed up at my apartment. I was getting ready for work when someone started pounding on my door. Not knocking. Pounding. I looked through the peephole. It was him. "Open the door," he shouted. "I know you're in there." I opened it. Big mistake. He pushed past me into my living room. His face was red, veins bulging in his neck. "You sold my car," he said. Not a question. An accusation. "You owed me money," I said. "That wasn't your car to sell. It was parked in my spot for over a year. You gave me the keys. And you owed me $50,000. He stepped closer. I could smell coffee on his breath. "Do you have any idea what you did?" I looked like a joke in front of investors. People are asking questions now. Wondering if I'm financially unstable. "Are you?" I asked. Wrong thing to say. He grabbed a picture frame off my shelf and threw it against the wall. "Glass everywhere. You're going to pay for that car," he said. "The full value. Not whatever garbage price you got. I'm keeping the money." You still owe me $18,000, he laughed. That same laugh from the cafe. You'll never see another cent. I'll make sure of it. And if you try to take me to court, I'll countersue for theft. You'll spend more on lawyers than you'll ever get back. Then he left. Didn't slam the door. Just walked out calmly like he'd made his point. I called my parents that night. Told them what happened. My dad sighed. You both need to let this go, he said. He threw something in my apartment. He's upset. You humiliated him at his grand opening. He humiliated himself. My mom took the phone. Why can't you just apologize? Make this right? Apologize for what? He's the one who didn't pay me back. Money isn't everything, she said. Family is. I told her family doesn't call each other parasites. She went quiet. Then she said my brother had always been sensitive, that I should know how to handle him by now. Like it's my job to manage his feelings while he treats me like garbage. 2 days later, I got a call from his business partner. I'd met her once, briefly, at the original cafe opening. I need to ask you something, she said. And I need you to be honest. Okay. Did your brother really owe you $50,000? I told her everything. The midnight visit, the promises, the 9 months of excuses. She was quiet for a long time. He told me you gave him a gift, she said finally. That you were trying to claim it was a loan now because you were jealous of his success. My stomach dropped. He's been saying that? To everyone. Investors, staff, our families. He said you were trying to sabotage him. I sat down. I actually had to sit down. I have bank records, I said. Text messages. He literally wrote, I'll pay you back in 6 months. Can you send those to me? I did. That same day. She called me back an hour later. I believe you, she said. And I'm furious. We're supposed to be opening 3 more locations next year. If he's lying about this, what else is he lying about? I didn't know what to say. I'm going to confront him, she said. But I wanted you to know, you're not crazy. And you're not wrong. That was 4 days ago. Yesterday, my brother posted on social media. Some long thing about family betrayal and how success brings out jealousy in people. Didn't name me directly, but everyone knew. The comments were split. Half were supportive of him. Half were asking questions. Someone even commented pay your debts with a laughing emoji. My parents called again last night. They want to have a family dinner to work this out. I told them I'm not coming unless he brings a check for $18,000. My dad said I was being unreasonable. That I was tearing the family apart over money. But here's the thing. It was never about the money. It's about him thinking he can treat me like nothing and get away with it because we're family. I'm not backing down. But I'm also terrified of what happens next. His business partner hasn't called back. I don't know if she confronted him. And part of me wonders if I just made everything worse. Is standing your ground worth losing your entire family over? His business partner found out he's been lying about a lot more than just my loan. She called me 3 days ago. Her voice was shaking. I went through the books, she said. After I confronted him about lying to me about your money. I waited. He's been skimming. Not a lot at once, but consistently. Small cash withdrawals that don't match up with expenses. I thought I was going crazy, but the numbers don't lie. My chest felt tight. How much? Over the past year? Maybe $30,000. And that's just what I can prove. I didn't know what to say. Part of me felt vindicated. The other part felt sick. She told me she'd confronted him that morning. He denied everything at first. Said she was paranoid, that she didn't understand how cash businesses work. Then when she showed him the records, he switched tactics. He blamed me. Said the stress of my harassment made him desperate. That he had to borrow against the business to pay legal fees in case I sued him. That he was going to pay it all back once things stabilized. She didn't believe him. Told him she wanted out of the partnership. He begged. Actually begged her not to leave. Said the new locations depended on her connections, that he'd lose everything. She said that wasn't her problem anymore. 2 days after that call, my brother showed up at my parents' house while I was there for Sunday dinner. I'd been avoiding family stuff, but my mom had guilted me into coming. He walked in during dessert. Looked terrible. Hadn't shaved, eyes bloodshot. We need to talk, he said to me. Not here, my dad said. No, here. In front of everyone. Since everyone seems to have an opinion about my life. My mom stood up. Please, let's all just calm down. My brother ignored her. He looked at me. My business partner is leaving. The investors are asking questions. I might lose the second location before it even opens. Are you happy now? I didn't do any of that, I said. You did. You started this. You couldn't just let it go. You called me a parasite. You owed me $50,000 and refused to pay. I was going to pay you back. When? He didn't answer. Just stared at me. My dad cleared his throat. Maybe if you both apologize, we can move forward. I looked at him. Apologize for what? For wanting my money back? For selling his car without permission, my mom said quietly. That was too far, something snapped in me. He gave me the keys. He parked it at my building for over a year. He owed me money and called me a parasite. But sure, I'm the problem. My brother's jaw clenched. You're so self-righteous. Acting like you're the victim here. You know what? Keep the money. Keep all of it. I don't want anything from you ever again. You still owe me $18,000, I said. He laughed. That same bitter laugh. Sue me then. Take me to court. Destroy what's left of my business. That's what you want, right? To watch me fail? I want you to take responsibility for once in your life. He left. Didn't say goodbye to our parents. Just walked out. My mom started crying. Said I was tearing the family apart. That I should have been the bigger person. I left too. Haven't talked to them since. Yesterday, I got a message from his now ex-business partner. She's filing paperwork to dissolve the partnership. She also said she'd be willing to testify if I decided to take him to small claims court. I looked into it. Small claims has a limit of $10,000 in my state, so I'd have to sue him twice or file in regular civil court. Either way, it's going to cost money and time. But here's what's eating at me. His whole life is falling apart now. The partnership, the business reputation, our family relationships. And yeah, he brought it on himself. But I'm the one who set it all in motion by selling that car. Some people in my last post said I did the right thing. Others said I was petty. I thought I'd feel satisfied watching him face consequences. Instead, I just feel empty. Like I won, but lost something too. My phone keeps buzzing with messages from extended family. Most of them think I went too far. A few agree with me but won't say it publicly because they don't want drama. I'm sitting here with bank statements and text messages ready to file a lawsuit. But I keep asking myself if it's worth it. He's never going to apologize. He's never going to admit he was wrong. And even if I win in court, I'll just be the family member who destroyed her brother over money. But if I don't, he gets away with all of it. The lies, the theft from his partner, calling me a parasite, everything. I don't know what the right move is anymore. I filed the lawsuit. Not because I thought I'd win anything meaningful. Not even because I wanted the money anymore. I filed it because I needed to stop being the person who always backs down. The process was slower than I expected. Small claims court in my state took almost 2 months to get a hearing date. During that time, my brother's second location never opened. His ex-business partner made sure word got around about the missing money. Turns out investors don't like partnering with people who can't keep their books clean. My parents stopped calling me. Not in an angry way. More like they just gave up. My mom sent one text that said I hope you're happy with your choices and that was it. No holiday invites. No birthday messages. Just silence. I wasn't happy. But I also wasn't sorry. The court hearing was on a Tuesday morning. I showed up with printed bank statements, text messages, everything. My brother showed up 20 minutes late wearing a wrinkled shirt. No lawyer. Just him. The judge asked him if he disputed owing me money. He said yes, that it was a gift, that I was harassing him. I showed the texts. The ones where he literally wrote I'll pay you back in 6 months, I swear on my life. The judge looked at him. This doesn't read like a gift. My brother tried to argue. Said I coerced him, that he was desperate and didn't know what he was signing up for. The judge cut him off. Did you pay back any portion of this loan? No, but I was planning to. When? Silence. The judge ruled in my favor. Ordered him to pay the remaining $18,000 plus court costs. Said he had 90 days. We walked out of the courthouse separately. I sat in my car for a while. I thought I'd feel victorious. Instead, I felt nothing. Just tired. He never paid. The 90 days came and went. I could have pursued wage garnishment, but his business was barely hanging on. There was nothing to garnish. 3 months after the court date, I heard through a mutual friend that he'd closed the original cafe. Couldn't make rent after losing his business partner and dealing with the negative publicity. He moved back in with our parents. I didn't reach out. Neither did he. Last month, almost a year after I sold his car, I got a message from his ex-business partner. She'd opened her own place across town. Wanted to know if I'd like to come by sometime, on the house. I went last week. The cafe was beautiful. Clean, bright, busy. Everything his place wanted to be but never quite managed. We sat in a corner booth. She brought me coffee. I never thanked you properly, she said. For showing me who he really was before I sank more money into that partnership. I didn't do it for you, I said. I did it because I was angry. Still. You saved me from making a huge mistake. He was bleeding that business dry and I had no idea. She told me he'd tried contacting her a few times. Asking for loans, for second chances, for references. She blocked him after the third attempt. Does that make us bad people? I asked. Watching someone hit rock bottom and doing nothing? She shook her head. He didn't hit rock bottom because of us. He hit it because he made bad choices and refused to own them. That's not on us. I wanted to believe her. Some days I do. I drove past my parents' house a few weeks ago. Didn't stop. Just drove past. His car, the one he'd bought to replace the BMW, was in the driveway. Older model, nothing fancy. I wondered if he thought about that night before his grand opening. When he couldn't find his car and everything started unraveling. I wondered if he blamed me for all of it or if somewhere, in some small part of his mind, he knew he'd done it to himself. My apartment is quieter now. No random family showing up. No guilt trips about being the bigger person. I got a promotion at work last month. Started looking at houses again. The money I lent him is gone. I've accepted that. But I have enough saved now anyway. Someone asked me last week if I regretted selling the car. If I thought I went too far. I don't know how to answer that. I can't say I regret it. But I also can't say I'm proud of it. It was the moment where I decided my peace mattered more than keeping everyone comfortable. Maybe that's selfish. Maybe it's not. What I do know is this. My brother had a choice at every turn. When I asked for repayment, he could have made a plan. When I confronted him, he could have apologized. When I sold the car, he could have taken it as a wake-up call. Instead, he doubled down every time. Lied to his business partner. Lied to our parents. Tried to paint me as the villain to anyone who'd listen. I didn't destroy his life. I just stopped protecting him from the consequences of his own actions. And maybe that makes me the bad guy in the family story. I can live with that. Last week I saw him at a grocery store. We were in different aisles, but I saw him through the shelves. He looked older. Tired. He didn't see me. I could have said something. Could have tried to bridge the gap. I kept walking. Some people aren't meant to be in your life, even if you share DNA. Some relationships aren't worth the cost of maintaining them. I learned that the hard way. I still think about the night he showed up at my apartment crying. Begging for help. How desperately I wanted to be the person who could fix things for him. How much I wanted him to succeed. But you can't save someone who doesn't want to be saved. And you can't keep setting yourself on fire to keep someone else warm. That's the lesson here. Not that I was right or wrong. Not that he deserved what happened. Just that boundaries matter. That respecting yourself matters. That sometimes walking away is the only option left. I don't talk to my parents anymore. Don't talk to most of my extended family. The ones who reached out did it to lecture me, not to listen. So I stopped engaging. It's lonely sometimes. But it's also peaceful. I'm rebuilding. Slowly. On my own terms. Without the weight of someone else's expectations or someone else's failures dragging me down. Someone asked me if I'd do it all differently knowing how it would end. Honestly, I don't know. Maybe I would have set clearer boundaries from the start. Maybe I wouldn't have lent him the money at all. But I can't change the past. What I can do is move forward. And that's enough.